The moment your heart stops beating, you're declared dead. But your body doesn't get the message, not all at once. For the next 72 hours, a cascade of biological events unfolds. Some cells keep working, some genes switch on for the first time, and the ecosystem of bacteria that spent your whole life being held in check begins to take over. Death isn't an event, it's a process. And it's far stranger than you think. Clinical death begins when the heart stops circulating blood. Without fresh oxygen, the brain, the most energy-demanding organ, consuming 20% of your oxygen supply, begins to fail first. Within 20 seconds, you lose consciousness. Electrical activity in the cortex flatlines. But deeper brain structures keep firing for minutes. In 2023, researchers at the University of Michigan found a surge of gamma-wave activity in dying patients' brains. The same waves associated with conscious perception, memory recall, and dreaming. The dying brain doesn't quietly power down. It lights up. Whether this explains near-death experiences, the tunnel of light, the life review, the feeling of peace, is still debated. But the activity is measurable and real. Without oxygen, cells switch from aerobic to anaerobic metabolism. Lactic acid builds up. The pH of your blood drops. Cell membranes, which require constant energy to maintain their integrity, begin to break down. Lysosomes, the organelles that normally recycle cellular waste, rupture, spilling digestive enzymes into the cell. The cell eats itself from the inside. This process is called autolysis, self-digestion. It begins in the most metabolically active organs first: the brain, the liver, the kidneys. Less active tissues, skin, tendons, bone, survive much longer. Individual cells don't all die at once. Some will continue metabolic activity for hours. Without circulation, the body can no longer regulate temperature. After an initial plateau, it begins cooling toward the ambient environment at an average of 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour under standard conditions, a process called algor mortis. Simultaneously, gravity takes over. Without a heartbeat to circulate blood, it pools in the lowest parts of the body. This creates livor mortis, a purple-red discoloration on the underside of the body. Forensic investigators use the pattern and fixation of livor mortis to estimate time of death and determine whether a body has been moved. Within 8 to 12 hours, the blood pooling becomes fixed as it leaks out of the capillaries and into the surrounding tissue. It becomes permanent. Your muscles require ATP, adenosine triphosphate, to both contract and relax. When ATP runs out, the muscle filaments lock in place. This is rigor mortis. It typically begins in the smaller muscles of the face and jaw within 2 hours, spreading to the larger muscles over 6 to 12 hours until the entire body is rigid. The popular image of rigor mortis as instant stiffening is wrong. It's a gradual wave, and it's temporary. After 24 to 48 hours, the same autolytic enzymes that are digesting the cells begin breaking down the muscle proteins, and the body relaxes again. Rigor mortis is the pause between two different kinds of softness. This is where death gets genuinely strange. In 2016, researchers studying the thanatotranscriptome, the gene expression profile after death, found that hundreds of genes show increased activity after the organism dies. Not less, more. Some of these genes are involved in stress response and inflammation, which makes sense. The cells are under extreme stress. But others are developmental genes, genes normally active only during embryonic development that were supposed to be permanently silenced. And some are genes associated with cancer promotion. Researchers found that in the hours after death, gene expression related to cancer pathways actually increased, as the cellular systems that normally keep them silenced break down. The body expresses growth programs it hadn't used since before birth. And speaking of your body's final mysteries, your brain might still be recording memories even after your heart stops beating. While you were alive, your immune system kept your gut bacteria in check. Trillions of microorganisms contained within the digestive tract. When the immune system stops, there's nothing holding them back. Bacteria begin migrating through the intestinal walls into the surrounding organs and bloodstream. Enzymes from your gut bacteria, particularly Clostridia species, begin breaking down tissue from the inside out. This is the beginning of putrefaction. The bacteria produce gases as metabolic byproducts: hydrogen sulfide, methane, ammonia. These gases cause bloating, discoloration, and the characteristic odor of decomposition. Your microbiome, which spent your entire life helping you digest food, is now digesting you. By 48 hours, the combined effects of autolysis and bacterial activity produce visible changes. The abdomen distends with gas. A greenish discoloration appears, typically starting in the lower right abdomen, directly over the cecum, where the highest concentration of gut bacteria resides. The skin begins to blister as fluid separates the layers. The smell intensifies. This is also when insect activity begins in earnest. Blowflies, which can detect decomposition from miles away, arrive within minutes of death in exposed conditions. They lay eggs in natural openings and wounds. Forensic entomologists use the life cycle stages of these insects, egg, larva, pupa, as remarkably precise biological clocks to estimate time of death, sometimes more accurately than any other method. 2 common myths. First, hair and nails do not continue to grow after death. What happens is the skin dehydrates and retracts, exposing more of the hair shaft and nail bed, creating the illusion of growth. Second, near-death experiences, the tunnel of light, the feeling of floating, the life review. While some researchers view these as evidence of consciousness beyond the body, neuroscience correlates them with the same patterns of brain activity seen during oxygen deprivation, REM intrusion, and the gamma wave surges measured in dying patients. This doesn't diminish their profound significance to the people who experience them. But the brain's activity during death is a measurable neurological event. You're declared dead at minute 0, but your cells keep working for hours. Your genes activate for the first time. Your bacteria begin the longest meal of their existence. Death isn't a switch, it's a slow dissolve. And your body, even at the very end, is still doing extraordinary biology. Science Untold. See you next time.